Now, fourth topic of year 11 biology. Well, this time in this tutorial, we'll be learning about two types of respiration and some of the simple things that you need to know for year 11 biology. Well, at least for my school. Anyways, two types of respiration. To clear things up first, what is respiration? Well, respiration is basically the process of turning food into useful energy, like ATP. And what is ATP? Well, we'll get onto that later. Um, the first one we see is aerobic respiration. Well, this is respiration that is in a oxygen-rich environment. So this is the type of respiration that happens when there is enough oxygen. And aerobic respiration is awesome. It uses oxygen and it produces carbon dioxide and water. And we see that because when we breathe in stuff, what we are breathing in is air. So I'm going to write out a chemical equation to represent the process. We're breathing air, and our body during respiration uses the oxygen and the sugar that's already in our body. That's C6H12 and O6. Anyways, that's the chemical formula for sugar, glucose. And then what we breathe out is pretty simple, CO2 and plus water. So that's H2O. And I can't be bothered to balance it. Actually, it's pretty easy. I think that's balanced. Yeah. Anyways, this over here is the chemical equation for aerobic respiration. And you will need to know this. It's pretty simple. Anyway, let me get rid of that. So it produces 38 ATP molecules for each sugar used. Well, since I've told you that respiration turns sugar into energy, well, in this case, the energy is called an ATP molecule. An ATP molecule is basically like a chain. Well, first I need to tell you what it is. It's called adenosine triphosphate. And it looks something like this over here, right here. You have two large chunks of adenine and ribose sugar. You need to know the name of these two. This is adenine and this is sugar, or ribose sugar. And this is phosphate groups. This is easy to remember because all you need to know is really remember the sugar and remember the name of adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine, first you have adenine here on top, and then you have a sugar that's attached to it. And then you have three phosphate groups. And remember how it's called triphosphate, not anything else? Well, that's because there are three groups. Anyway, I don't think I'll be getting to that right now because that's for another topic, I guess. So that's what ATP is. And ATP can provide energy just like an engine. Anyway, moving down to anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is lane respiration that doesn't happen in a oxygen that happens in an oxygen-free environment. So when we are sprinting to 400 meters, for example, the last 100 meter you feel like crap because your body has you can't intake enough oxygen for the aerobic respiration to happen. So that's why you're panting, you're running, and you're suffering for the last 100 meter because your body cannot have enough oxygen to produce 38 ATP anymore. And because while you're running, you need a lot of energy, right? If you don't have enough energy, if your body just produces 2 ATP for the last 100 meter, you're going to feel very tired and may not even be able to feel like moving on. Anyways, so this happens without oxygen, and when there's no oxygen, what you get basically sucks, produces 2 ATP for each sugar used. And as you can see, why do organisms need oxygen to survive? While oxygen is not necessary for every organism, most creatures, complicated ones, need it. Highly functioning ones need it because those animals who can run or jump, or just climb around, they definitely need a lot of energy. And for that amount of energy consuming, you need to provide a lot of ATP molecule to make up for the energy you lose, right? Um, and so thus you need oxygen and you need to perform aerobic respiration. But for if you're a little bug um, that survives in a swamp that doesn't have oxygen, and you don't need to move them up around much because you can't run, you don't have legs. Well, I guess you're fine with the 2 ATP one, and there are some organisms that live meters under a dead swamp without the existence of oxygen. And that's because they don't move around much. They don't need that much energy to survive. And the last thing I want to stress on is the product of anaerobic oxygen. In anaerobic oxygen, for in animals, the product is lactic acid. And these ones you don't really need to know the chemical equation for, just know the name, lactic acid. Well, lactic acid is something that you can feel that is releasing, that is being made. If you have ever done 400 meters, which is a really painful race, in the last 100 meter, a soreness, a excruciatingly painful soreness comes in the last 100 meter. And what that is actually your body is producing lactic acid from doing anaerobic respiration. So, and this lactic acid makes your leg go sore and makes you feel uncomfortable. So that sucks. And in plants and fungus, they produce ethanol and carbon dioxide in a anaerobic respiration, and this is just because they're plants and fungus. And we humans use this feature to make some pretty amazing stuff. When we are brewing wines, what we are essentially doing is, you know, putting some fungus, that is yeast, into the wine and letting us, and we have to seal it because we don't want oxygen to come in. So what we have done in brewing wines is we have created a oxygen-free environment for the yeast to to undergo anaerobic respiration. And the yeast, after doing anaerobic respiration, have produced ethanol. And that's why our alcohol is, is alcohol, because it has ethanol in it. And well, anyway, that's a fun fact on how wine is made. I'm pretty sure there are other stuff that, like making bread, right? You're putting yeast in there, and you want to seal the dough because you don't want oxygen to come in. So using the same principle, we can make a lot of um, good, delicious, and just feasts and drinks or bread or pizzas using this feature that is anaerobic respiration for fungus. Anyways, I'm going way off topic here. Oh, actually, let me move down here. Yeah, there we go. One more add-on. This is the word equation for anaerobic respiration. In plants and fungus, glucose simply turns to ethanol and carbon dioxide plus 2 ATP. And in animals, glucose turns to lactic acid plus 2 ATP. So it's kind of like it's a magic, right? Something just turns to something else. How does it do that? Well, we don't know at this stage, but hopefully we'll get to learn this in the future. Okay, as you can see, our next topic is binary fusion, and right now I have no idea what it is, but I'll make sure I get onto that. Thank you.